What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we have a ton more space in the garage. We finally have some place we can work. Alrighty guys, so if you couldn't tell from that last clip or even the thumbnail of this video, but I have rented out a second section of this garage here. So if you guys have ever watched any of the previous videos on the channel, or maybe you noticed it in the last couple of videos, but there used to be a bunch of stuff that wasn't mine in this area of the garage right here, and it recently got cleaned out, and therefore I am now renting this entire space for as long as I rent the original middle bay that I have the Genesis sitting in right now. And I did that solely because I just needed more space, and I'll get into that in this video right here. Alrighty guys, so to give a little bit of a backstory on this garage, this renting this place originally, and how everything, all of this stuff came to be. So now I originally rented this middle bay here, basically from this pole to that pole, as winter storage, just to leave the car here the winter of 2020 going into 2021. Then last summer, so 2021 summer, I ended up needing a new storage place to store all of my stuff, which you can see tucked in that far back corner over there. And therefore, I pretty much indefinitely rented out this middle bay right here. Now, the problem with that was I used to have a nice big work area in the back over there. But unfortunately, as I started bringing all of my stuff here and leaving it in throughout the year, last year, I started quickly realizing that I was severely running out of space in my work area, and therefore pretty much the biggest reason I have yet to really get started on this thing, because I already knew that if I took these fender flares off, for example, and start doing the fiberglass and bodywork and repairs we need to do on these things, I really had nowhere to work on them, because I basically only had from this pole to the car and that little alcove back there. So, and that's where this section comes into play. And basically what came down to is there used to be a bunch of stuff over here that was not mine. It was the guy who owns the garage's stuff, much like everything that is on that back side of the garage as well. So one day I was here, he came by, and basically I said, hey, I might need some extra space to do a little extra projects. If you get any of this stuff moved out, let me know, and I'll rent it for a few months at least, because he said that everything that was in here was being like removed or trashed or scrapped or sold or anything like that. And he was like, yeah, no problem. Give me a few weeks to a month and I'll see what I can do. And that basically has brought us up to where we're at right now. All right, so after like maybe, not even joking, 2 or 3 days of this area being cleaned out and me just being able to stand here, record on the camera, walk around, and just have somewhere where I can start moving around my little cart, my bin. I can move my workbench that's way back over there. Over here, we can have nice light. So now that back corner over there, way over there that I have my stuff, there's no light over that area, so it is dark over there. So anytime I'm trying to do anything, it's kind of stinks because, yeah, it's dark. The light, if you can't tell, it's right above each one of these bays. So just being here for like literally 2 or 3 days before I even said how long I was gonna rent this little section out, it was just a breath of fresh air being in the garage. Just having somewhere to work and walk and just kind of stand back and look at the car, it was just fantastic. And I was like, hey, I'll just take this spot indefinitely. I was originally only gonna take it for 2 months, and I was gonna pay X amount of dollars for those 2 months. And I said, hey, if you can do this price per month, I'll take it indefinitely on top of this middle bay that I rent. And that's basically how we got to this point here. And I don't know, it's hard to describe how much better and just kind of breathable like this space feels, even though it's technically not any different space. But just being able to walk in this one section of this garage is awesome. We've done a couple of things in the background before we made this video where I did have this space already. I have had this space for probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks at this point. But yeah, like I'm saying, this was a huge improvement. I really, really needed somewhere to be able to work on the fender flares on the car. That was kind of like my biggest gripe, is that I just have nowhere to work on the fender flares in here. I can't bring the fender flares in that little back corner over there and get a whole bunch of sanding dust and fiberglass and primer and all that stuff over there with all of my tools and parts and all that stuff. Just makes no sense. And unfortunately, it's still way too cold to be bringing the Genesis or the fiberglass parts outside, so that way we have either an empty bay in here to work with the Genesis out of the way if we brought that outside. And unfortunately, if we did wait until the weather got warm enough, then we're gonna lose the whole beginning half of the season just because we didn't have any space to work on, for example, the fender flares. So that's basically how this whole section came in. Now, it's not 100% cleaned out. He did leave a couple of things here, and I said that was fine because I don't think like the 18 inches of space between the wall and where these ladders are really going to affect me all that much. I did originally hope that I would have enough space here to potentially pull in another car if I ever needed it, because there are some things that I need to do on the Durango. And for example, like my girlfriend's headlight is flickering on her car, and I'm not gonna go outside in 35-degree weather to do that. So it would be nice if I could potentially pull that in here for a few hours and work on it, and then that way I don't have to worry about bringing the Genesis in and out of the garage and then bring another car in and out of the garage, flip-flopping cars and doing all that. So that's kind of how this whole ordeal started, and it's exciting. I don't really think a lot of people will realize how kind of just happy just having more room can make you. It's crazy. I didn't realize it until I was in here, and like I said, I was here for like 2 days, 3 days, and just those couple of days just being able to walk around, because normally I'm kind of, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm kind of like trying to squeeze in between the poles here. And then there's another one over here, so we're kind of squeezing in between the poles when we're trying to walk around the car. And my cart thing over here, you couldn't actually, it was actually stuck in this front corner over here because I didn't have enough room between the front bumper and the garage to pull it back. I couldn't bring it behind the car over there or over here behind the car, so it was basically just stuck in that corner. So but now that we have this extra space, I can pull the cart around anywhere I want. I can stand back, look at the Genesis, look at the side of the Genesis, and then now I can finally stop making up excuses for myself, and I finally have the space to go ahead, pull the fender flares off the car, and finally start getting the vinyl wrap off of them and start doing the fiberglass repairs and some of that other work that we talked about in the last couple of videos back. But with that being said, I'm super excited for having the extra space. It's gonna make a big improvement. It's just completely improved my mood, just being here in general, especially being able to just stand under the light and not being in the back corner in what I like to call the little cave over there. It's so dark, but yeah, this is just an exciting video. I'm happy to have this space. Super grateful that this place was even be able to, just super grateful that this space was able to be cleaned out such a short time. The guy who owns this garage that I rented from is a super awesome guy. I'm very thankful that he was able to get this taken care of for me. And yeah, I don't know, wasn't gonna make a video off of this, just this one thing, but I will try and make this one quick. So I'll wrap this one up here for now, but good things coming. Super positive vibes from here on out in this video, and now we finally have the room to get cracking on this car and get it redone finally.